Hello, everyone. Good evening. Let me know whether I am clearly audible and visible or not, because I have changed the mic now, right? So let me see whether I am clearly audible and visible or not, and the issue of mic is resolved or not. Good evening, and today we are going to discuss about the Iran and USA crisis, and right? Finally, hopefully, the deal is there, and the deal is signed, but how will it go? The next 60 days are going to be the most crucial day. So how it goes in next 60 days, that we have to see. So in today's session, what all we are going to cover is, firstly, we'll talk about the background, that how did we get here. Already we have talked about this many a times. So we'll try to cover it in short. Then the 14-point MOU which is signed. Then what to expect next in next 60 days. What are the challenges? Why this deal is good? And what are the key takeaways? Shall we start? Great. Voice is perfectly audible now. Badhiya. So it took some time, but finally we have resolved this issue, right? Just say it took a lot of time to eventually resolve or sign a deal between Iran and USA. It took a lot of time to solve the issue of mic. So first, how did we get here? What are the situation? So of course we know the history of Israel and Palestine and the history of Iran also. Iran and USA's animosity starts with the 1979 Iranian revolution that was there in USA, that was there in Iran, and after which the US embassy was seized in Iran for 444 days, which resulted into diplomatic crisis and eventually worsening the relationship between Iran and USA. 2002, US labeled Iran as part of axis of evil. Now, what is axis of evil? These are group of those countries categorized by USA are promoter of terrorism in the world. So USA categorize Iran as axis of evil. That means one of the country which is spreading terrorism in the world. But over the period of time, they try to improve the relation and they start with the proxy war. Now, what is proxy war? Proxy war means where you are not directly involved in the war, but you are there. Like there was a war between, say, Israel on one side and Palestine on another side. Israel, who is a proxy of USA, and Palestine, who is a proxy of Iran, right? Or you can say the proxy war between Houthi rebellions on the one side and the Saudi Arabia on the other side. Saudi ally of USA and Houthis ally of Iran. So this war is called as proxy war. So this proxy war was going for a long period of time, and to come out of this proxy war, one US president, Barack Obama, tried to resolve this issue by having a Iran nuclear deal in 2015, that is JCPOA, that is Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, right? JCPOA, that is Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, or Iran nuclear deal. But after this, in 2016, a crazy president, Donald Trump becomes the president of United States of America, and in 2018, this person decides to withdraw from JCPOA and to put maximum pressure and sanctions on Iran. From here onwards, this proxy war between Iran and USA restarts. इनके बीच में जो proxy war चल रहा था वो फिर से शुरू होता है, and Iran even tried to increase the nuclear stockpile that they have. There is a history that in the year 1955, USA gave nuclear technology to Iran. USA was the country who started the nuclear program of Iran. Reason, at that time, best friend of USA in the Middle East was Iran. And as I always say, there are no permanent friends and no permanent enemies in international politics. That was the same situation here. USA and Iran were best friends till the year 1979. But after that, situation changed, and now Iran is using same nuclear technology given by USA to them to threaten USA and their allies, mainly countries like Israel. इनको threaten करने के लिए Iran is using the same nuclear stockpile that they have or the nuclear enrichment facilities that they have. After 2018, in the year 2023, the fight between Israel and Palestine starts. Eventually, it results into killing of a lot of Palestinian people, and few leader of Palestinian organization called Hamas goes to Iran. And now to kill these Hamas leaders in Iran, Israel attacks on Iran. And when Israel attacks on Iran, right? When Israel attacks on Iran, direct conflict between Iran and Israel starts. And then there will be entry of United States directly in the war. So in June 2025, Israel launches major strike on Iranian nuclear and military sites. After that, 2026, US and Israel launch Operation Epic Fury, in which supreme leader of Iran, Khamenei, gets killed and full-scale war between Iran and USA starts, right? And this results into blockade of a very important place called Strait of Hormuz. And this blockade of Strait of Hormuz results into oil crisis globally. क्रूड ऑयल प्राइसेस ग्लोबली इंक्रीज होते हैं बहुत ज्यादा, इन्फ्लेशन आता है, एलपीजी के प्राइस बढ़ जाते हैं. नाउ after this, 7th of April 2026, first 2-week ceasefire was announced by DJ Trump with the help of beloved neighbor and son of India called Pakistan, right? Then June 14, Pakistan mediates, MOU framework is getting agreed. And finally, they decide that on 19th of June, लेकिन ये 18th को इन्होंने almost sign कर लिया है. The 19th of June, the MOU will be formally signed at Geneva, Switzerland, because signing something like this in Pakistan is very dangerous, right? So we have to go to some peaceful place. So they decide to go to Geneva and sign this agreement. Now, what are the 14 points of this MOU, right? So there is a 14-point MOU. What are the key provisions? You are not required to go in the detail of each provision, but broadly the headline of each provision or the first line of each provision we need to understand. The story till here is clear to everyone. Please let me know once in the chat box so that we can move ahead. Perfect. Great. Now, what is the first point of the deal? First is end of the conflicts on all fronts. First is end of the conflict on all fronts. Now, these details, small details are not required. Just remember, end of the conflict on all fronts. What does that mean? You have to end the conflict even in Lebanon, because last time when ceasefire happened between Iran and USA and Israel, right, brokered by Pakistan, Israel said there is a peace deal or there is a ceasefire between Israel, Iran and USA, not between Israel and Lebanon, and they killed a lot of people in Lebanon. So here this time it is end of conflict in all the areas, including specifically there is a mention of Lebanon. There is a mention of Lebanon, that there will be no attacks in Lebanon also. So first is end of all the conflict. Second is respect the internal affairs, because there was a talk that USA might intervene in the Iran ke internal issue and the politics of internal Iran, right? Because supreme leader have died recently, so USA might enter in the internal politics and turmoil of Iran, but they said no, we will respect the internal affairs of Iran. Third is extendable 60-day timeline. So for next 60 days, we are committing, both the sides have committed negotiation and achieving the final deal within next 60 days. अगले 60 days में final deal होगी, because what recently happened is MOU, that is memorandum of understanding. So what is MOU? That means till the time we have final negotiation and deal, till the time we will maintain this MOU, memorandum of understanding. So you and your friend have a conflict. Eventually you and your friend decides that okay, let's have a deal so that we should not fight in future, but till the time we decide what should be the terms of deal, we should stop fighting. So first thing, let's decide a timeline that we have decided to make peace. In next 60 days, we will find out a deal which will be agreed by both of us. And till the time we have signed one memorandum of understanding that we are giving both of us 60 days ka time to negotiate and come to a deal. So what is this? This is not a deal. This is a memorandum of understanding which is signed where 60 days timeline is given, right, to both the sides to come to a solution. Then USA will end the naval blockade of all the ports. All the Iranian ports have been blocked. Even Strait of Hormuz is also under blockade, right? So the blockade will end fully within 30 days if everything goes according to the timeline. So 30 days mein blockade will be removed. Then next, Strait of Hormuz will be reopened. It will be safe and toll-free passage because Iran in between was saying that they are going to charge a toll from anyone who is trying to cross Strait of Hormuz. So there are arrangements which are done which says that Strait of Hormuz will be safe, toll-free passage for commercial vessel through the Strait of Hormuz immediately upon signing of this deal. So all the Strait of Hormuz will be reopened for everyone. So first thing, first point is conflict खत्म करनी है at all ends. Second, ईरान के internal issues में USA इंटर नहीं करेगा. Third, 60 days timeline to finalize the deal. Fourth, all the ports of Iran will be free. And fifth, Strait of Hormuz will be reopened. Sixth, now this is very important, very interesting. $300 billion reconstruction fund will be given. So for all the losses of property, all the losses of infrastructure that is done in Iran, जो भी infrastructure का loss हुआ है ईरान का, so for that $300 billion will be given to USA and their allies. Of course, this is not one time. These are given in different phases. जैसे जैसे agreement will go on, जैसे जैसे the things which are signed in the deal will be accepted by Iran also, implemented by Iran also, Iran will be given this money. So what technically is happening? अमेरिका ने पहले सब तोड़ फोड़ दिया, बोल रहे चलो ठीक है पैसे ले लो, है ना, और वापस बना लेना फिर से. लोगों को कहां से वापस लाओगे जिनको आपने मार दिया है? But the cost for them is $300 billion, जो America and their allies have committed to give in near future, right? From time to time, they will give this money if Iran follows the deal. The next is all sanctions to end. There are a lot of sanctions on Iran, right, by USA that they cannot trade. There are sanctions of United Nations Security Council on Iran. So all the trade restrictions which are there on Iran will be removed. Now this is very good for a country like India. This is very good for a country like India because it directly allows us to buy oil from Iran. So for India, now Iranian oil is there. Before, आज के 10 साल पहले, Iran was the third largest supplier of oil to us. And when we get more places from where you can buy oil, automatically the prices of oil are going to come down. क्या सरकार उस हिसाब से पेट्रोल डीजल की प्राइसेस लोगों के लिए कम करती है क्या? That we have to see. But yes, it will be good for India because we are going to get access to these oil for India. We can trade with Iran. Even we have our port Chabahar. On there also there were restrictions. We can now develop the port of Chabahar also. Tell me, what do you think? क्या सरकार prices कम करेगी oil के? In the chat box. So this will be immediate that all the sanctions will be removed. So this is one of the good things for Iran and for other countries also. Next is no nuclear weapon. Now this is biggest commitment from the side of Iran. Iran has agreed that they are not going to procure, develop a nuclear weapon. ना ही वो किसी से nuclear weapon खरीदेंगे, ना ही वो अपना nuclear weapon develop करेंगे. And they will allow the down blending in place. Down blending means what Iran was doing from time to time, they were increasing, enriching the quality of uranium that they have. See, normal uranium that you get, you cannot use that uranium directly in a bomb. आप उस यूरेनियम को डायरेक्टली बॉम्ब में यूज नहीं कर सकते. यू नीड टू डू इनरिचमेंट ऑफ यूरेनियम, एंड that was being done by Iran from time to time basis by using centrifuges. So centrifuges were used by Iran to enrich the quality of uranium, and in today's date roughly they have 400 kg of enriched uranium, which is sufficient to blow the entire world, right? And but they don't have nuclear weapon, so they have quality of uranium but they cannot use it in a weapon or a bomb because they don't have a bomb. उन्हें ये नहीं पता कि इसको फोड़ते कैसे हैं, उनके पास बस बना हुआ है कि बढ़िया क्वालिटी का यूरेनियम है हमारे पास. So here what they are saying, you have to stop all the plans to procure a nuclear weapon or develop a nuclear weapon, plus whatever enriched uranium that you have to downblend that uranium. That means, one, you can give that uranium to International Atomic Energy Agency, or you have to yourself, right? You yourself have to destroy that uranium, which can be used in a bomb. Now, there are some conflicts around this because Iran का ये कहना है they want to use this uranium for nuclear energy, for electricity generation. So they don't want to downgrade or they don't want to give it to IAEA. But let's see, these are the things that they need to solve in next 60 days. यही चीज तो मेनली उनको 60 दिन में अगले सॉल्व करनी है. So let's see how it goes. Next, point number 9 and 10, nuclear status quo and oil waiver. Until the enriched uranium deal is dealt with, USA and Iran agree to maintain status quo over nuclear program of Iran. So they will try to solve the issue, what to do with enriched uranium. Till then they will maintain status quo. Status quo means जैसा है वैसा ही रखा जाएगा. Nobody, Iran will not do enrichment of more uranium. USA will not ask for downblending of uranium till the time deal is there. Apart from that, USA will not impose any sanction. कोई भी new sanction नहीं लगाया जाएगा, and Iran will have waiver to export oil, petroleum products to associated services and banking transaction, transportation, right? तो जो immediate economic benefit है that Iran is going to get is good benefit. Point number 11, frozen funds will be released. Now, USA have taken all the funds which are given to Iran, and those were frozen in different places. They were frozen. उनके ईरान के अकाउंट फ्रीज कर दिए गए थे. ईरान was not able to deal in US dollars. US डॉलर में ईरान डील भी नहीं कर सकता था. So US undertakes to make fully available Iran's frozen or restricted fund once the MOU is signed. So wherever Iran have dollar and those accounts are frozen, they will be reopened for Iran so that they can have trade with entire world. Point number 12 and 13, monitoring mechanism and final negotiation. Iran and USA will establish a mechanism to monitor implementation of all the MOU. They will try to monitor all that MOU, and they will have final negotiation within next 60 days. That is point number 12 and point number 13. And the last point, UNSC endorsement. The deal will be endorsed by binding UNSC resolution. United Nations Security Council will, once the deal is signed, that deal will be passed by UNSC. And you know that United Nations के अंदर there is only one body whose decisions are binding in nature, that is United Nations Security Council. So once that resolution is passed by UNSC also, that will become binding on both Iran as well as USA. Iran and USA दोनों के ऊपर वो binding होगा, right? So finally, after doing all this, if everything goes well in next 60-90 days, there are chances, there is a big hope that Donald Trump का बहुत पुराना सपना पूरा हो जाएगा. What is that सपना? Tell me in the chat box. They will decrease. Mark my words. Don't make biased opinion. Okay. Right. Let's see how it goes. That's what I wanted to know, na? Kya hoga? So these are the things that are there. So what is the difference between the treaty? As I said, MOU is a interim thing to come to a final treaty which is binding in nature. जब तक binding treaty नहीं बन जाती, let's have this understanding. That is the difference between the MOU and the treaty. So peace deal sign नहीं हुई है, MOU sign हुआ है कि peace deal we will have. What to expect this next 60 days? First week and second week, अगले 2 हफ्ते में, next 60 days में, what is the plan of action? Right, Nobel Peace Prize. ऑयल को हड़पना सब कुछ चाहते हैं, ऑयल हड़पना भी चाहते हैं, पीस डील भी चाहते हैं, नोबेल पीस प्राइज भी चाहते हैं. सो इन नेक्स्ट 1 to 2 week we can see immediate implementation. The naval blockade of Strait of Hormuz should be removed. The blockade of Iranian port should be removed. IAEA, the people of International Atomic Energy Agency, should be deployed there in Iran. So from USA side we should see Hormuz को ओपन कर दिया, ईरान के पूरे जो पोर्ट्स है उनको ओपन कर दिया, एंड ईरान के ऊपर से सैंक्शंस हटा दिए. ईरान को क्या करना होगा? इंटरनेशनल एटॉमिक एनर्जी एजेंसी के लोगों को आने देना है, उनको इंस्पेक्शन करने देना है, राइट? यूरेनियम की डाउन ब्लेंडिंग शुरू करनी है. देन नेक्स्ट 3 to 4 week ने वी कैन हैव टेक्निकल न्यूक्लियर टॉक्स, राइट? बिकॉज IAEA देख लेगा कि कितना यूरेनियम है, किस टाइप का है, एंड ईरान वांट कि उनका 400 kg का यूरेनियम दे शुड बी अलाउड टू यूज फॉर द civilian purpose, for the purpose of generation of nuclear energy. Then 5 to 6 week sanctions architecture, धीरे धीरे sanctions जो है वो लिफ्ट किए जाएंगे, राइट? कैसे, किस कंडीशन के बाद कौन से सैंक्शन हटेंगे वो देखा जाएगा. एंड 7 to 8 weeks में we can have a final deal over Hormuz, unfreezing $100 billion plus assets of Iran, ballistic missile program, रीजनल प्रॉक्सी नेटवर्क, प्रिजनर्स एक्सचेंज, ये सारी चीजें फाइनल होगी. देयर इज वन थिंग व्हिच सेड बाय यूएसए. डीजे ट्रंप ने कहा कि अगर सारी कंट्री दुनिया भर की बैलिस्टिक मिसाइल रख सकती है तो इन्हें भी बैलिस्टिक मिसाइल रखने देंगे, बट न्यूक्लियर कैपेबल नहीं होगी कोई भी. दे विल नॉट हैव न्यूक्लियर कैपेबल मिसाइल्स. If deal succeeds, there will be lifting of sanctions, 300 crore reconstruction fund. Iran will reintegrate with the global economy and permanent nuclear non-proliferation of this region. If talk collapse, there will be more military operations, as said by Trump. Strait of Hormuz closure risk, global energy crisis and regional instability और ज़्यादा बढ़ जाएगी. So let's hope for the peace कि ये सारी चीजें peacefully solve हो जाए. But what are the challenges into this? First is the nuclear stockpile deadlock that I said कि भाई 400 kg इनके पास पड़ा हुआ है जो वो यूज करना चाहते हैं, राइट? एंड पिछली जो ईरान न्यूक्लियर डील हुई थी, मोर इंटरेस्टिंगली, द लास्ट ईरान न्यूक्लियर डील दैट दे हैड, JCPOA, it took around 20 months to come to a conclusion. Here they are expecting it in 60 months, that is 2 months, है ना? तो भाई यहाँ 20 महीने लगे थे, यहाँ 2 महीने में कंक्लूजन पे आना है. The sanction architecture problem, कौन सा sanction कब हटाया जाएगा? And eventually if you want to remove the sanction, this deal needs to be passed by the US Congress. अकेले प्रेसिडेंट से नहीं होगा, US कांग्रेस का भी रोल इसके अंदर आ जाएगा. तो let's see how it happens in US. The Israel factor, Israel is not a party to MOU. सिर्फ ईरान और यूएस के बीच में डील हो रही है, इजराइल के ऊपर तो बोल दिया जा रहा है कि इजराइल भी कुछ नहीं करेगा. इज इजराइल अ पार्टनर टू दिस? नो, इजराइल इज नॉट अ पार्टनर टू दिस डील. ऑफ कोर्स देयर विल बी टॉक दैट इजराइल शुड बी मेड अ पार्टनर. देन domestic politics of both the sides, US politics as well as the politics of Iran, right? USA and Iran दोनों के अपने politics है. If they try to sign a deal and if that deal is in favor of Iran, Donald Trump will lose in America. If that deal is in favor of USA, the new Mustafa Khamenei will lose his confidence, right, in the government, or people will lose the confidence in Mustafa Khamenei. So deal should be balanced. Otherwise, it will affect the domestic politics of both the country. And lastly, the 60-day time crunch. भाई 20 महीने 15 महीने लगने वाली चीज 2 महीने में कैसे होगी? That is one of the biggest challenge that we have. So these are the hurdles that we have in this. But why this deal is good? Firstly, If this deal happens, it will improve the global energy stability, the crude oil stability. It will result into nuclear non-proliferation of the region. That means nuclear increment जो हो रहा था ईरान का, nuclear power जो बन रहा था, that will be stopped. Middle East will be in peace because it was getting affected in Lebanon, in Saudi, in Qatar, in Kuwait, in Bahrain, in Oman. Everywhere the war is getting spreaded. Iran's economic revival, because Iran is in need of funds. Firstly, they will get $300 billion. Secondly, they will get access to their $100 billion ke assets, which they have in dollars in different parts of the world. So $400 billion Iran will get. Global trade and shipping will be improved. Thoda free movement hoga and diplomatic precedent set hoga that any conflict in the world can be solved on the table. राइट दुनिया का कोई भी कॉन्फ्लिक्ट टेबल पे आके सॉल्व किया जा सकता है बात करके. डिप्लोमेसी कैन विन. दैट विल बी शोन इफ दैट डील हैपेंस. अगर ये डील होती है तो डिप्लोमेसी की जीत होगी. एक बात करके कॉन्फ्लिक्ट को सॉल्व किया गया. What are the key takeaways and legal dimension? So as I said first, this is an MOU and not a treaty as of now. जब ट्रीटी होगी तब ये बाइंडिंग होगी, अभी तो नहीं. UN Charter Article 2.4 prohibits threat or use of force against territorial integrity of any state. And US-Israel की जो लड़ाइयाँ चल रही है, this has raised the question over authenticity of United Nation, the identity of United Nation. उसके ऊपर सवाल उठ रहा है. NPT होगा, nuclear non-proliferation, one of the term which is there, right? And the freedom of navigation, which United Nations says via United Nations Convention on Law of Seas, right? That freedom of navigation is affected in Strait of Hormuz. We can see even Indian naval ship was attacked and few people from India were also killed. So freedom of navigation and the right of United Nation or the authenticity of United Nation कहाँ है? So सबसे बड़ा चैलेंज इस पूरे कॉन्फ्लिक्ट में, इस पूरे इशू में यही आया है, वेयर इज यूनाइटेड नेशन, वेयर इज यूनाइटेड नेशन. और क्या रोल है आज की डेट में यूनाइटेड नेशन का दुनिया में? ना ईरान सुन रहा है, ना यूएस सुन रहा है, ना इजराइल सुन रहा है, कोई भी. ना ईरान सुनता है, ना इजराइल सुनता है, ना यूएस सुनता है, ना रशिया सुनता है, ना यूक्रेन सुनता है, ना इंडिया सुनता है, ना पाकिस्तान सुनता है. Nobody is listening to United Nation and the things of United Nation. So what is the authenticity of United Nation that we have? ये एक सवाल उठता है, right? When we talk about the deal in numbers or important numbers in the deal, firstly, दुनिया का 20% of the oil trade passes through Strait of Hormuz, so it will be resolved. 400 kg stockpile of uranium that they have, $100 billion plus के जो assets है, those will be given. The deal is having 14 points. $300 billion का reconstruction package मिलेगा. Deal needs to be finalized in 60 days, and duration for Iran is USA-Israel war was 111 days. 111 days का ये war था, ठीक है. So these are few important numbers that you should know, and yes, I think these are the things that you should know about this deal. Let's see how this deal goes. What do you think on this deal? In next 60 days, is it possible to have the deal? If it is possible and you think it can be done, how it can be done, let me know in the chat box. If it can't be done, why you think it can't be done, that also let me know in the chat box. And one more interesting question you have to answer in the chat box. इसके अंदर पाकिस्तान ने बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट रोल प्ले किया है, एंड पाकिस्तान की पूरी दुनिया में इसके लिए तारीफ भी की जा रही है. What do you think on this? That is India losing diplomatically to Pakistan globally? If yes, how and why? If not, how and why? पाकिस्तान वाला आंसर जरूर देना, ऊपर वाला नहीं दिया तो चलेगा. Give answer of this question. आराम से later in the comment box, not right now in the chat box. See you guys in the next class. Till then, take care, stay safe. And this week we are having GK marathon, right? Ahmedabad, I guess, Kanpur, Lucknow. So see you guys in the GK marathon on Saturdays and Sundays. Till then, take care, stay safe. Bye bye.